Hey, guess what? I got something super special for you today, because today in the Rat Hole, we are live.
The number you have dialed has been changed. The new number is...
Hey, what's up, Internet? Paparazzo Dave Chapman here. I am about to be live. I am live with Joey Vigour. Why do I always say Vigour? I don't know. My brain says it's French, and I know it's British, but that's weird.
It's kind of both.
Yeah.
I have some relatives who are Vigoureux.
All right.
V-A-U-X.
So that would be very French.
Pretty French.
Yeah. So just so everyone knows, we are live. We are live on my Facebook channel, as well as our YouTube. If you type in a comment on our Facebook page, we can see it. I can bring it up. Maybe we'll talk to you. Same thing goes over on the geekorama.net Facebook page. They've been kind enough to also share this video out. So yeah, by all means, please make some comments, say hello, and we will be here and we'll see that. So let's start with hi.
Hello.
I'm here with Joey, and you've got a game, and we're going to talk to you about it. I'm all sorts of blah 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 right now. First time doing this live stream, so this is going to be kind of fun. So tell us a little bit about you.
All right. How can I share this onto my Facebook page?
Oh, there was a post on Facebook itself, so you should just be able to pop over there and like where the live video is, and just share it like you would any other live video post.
All right. Yeah. Ask me a question. I'll answer it.
Well, let's start with, what is your background?
I'm from Virginia, and I started as a kind of a film guy. I went to film school in the South, and then moved to LA to work in movies. And I made a couple documentaries, and I wasn't happy with the experience with that, just because I didn't have total control. And I felt like everything I was working on was so ambitious. It required like money people and agents and managers. And I disagreed with some of the decisions being made in the edit room. So I thought, man, if I just got into something less ambitious, like overall smaller projects, then I could just do my own thing. So that's what I've been doing since 2013. It's been awesome.
Nice. So now you started doing games. What other games have you done?
I did Chaosmos, which is here. This is my grand game from 2014 or 2015. This came out, and this is sort of a epic trek across the galaxy in search of the Ovoid, which is the seed of the new universe. So that was a great experience. We kickstarted that in 2014. And it came out retail, and we had a ball. People bought it all over the world, and it's really changed my life. I didn't make very much money from it, but that I knew what I was getting myself into with that, because it cost a lot to make. But I learned how to design games and how to work with various distributors and retail store people, and I learned how Kickstarter works, more importantly. So that's all I've done since then is work on games.
Nice. So current game is Growl.
Growl. Yes, it's the current game that I'm always working on several things at once. But
right,
yes.
Most designers usually are. But you've got a Kickstarter coming out for a couple of expansions starting tomorrow.
Yes, yeah, I'm launching the Madness and Plagues expansion tomorrow.
Nice.
So, sorry, I'm trying to share this link.
Yeah, by all means.
Facebook.com/TheRatHole.ca. Okay. There we go. Okay, so if I just share that link, that'll work?
Yeah, if you got the video link up there, it should work just fine. And this video will still be on even when we're not live, too.
Oh, good. Yeah, I want to share it. Okay, so yeah, I'm happy to talk about the expansions. Should I just get into it? Is that the best way to do it?
Let's do a little, walk us through the base game of Growl. That is what we're going to be giving away at the end of the show. So let's take a look at it.
All right, so let's switch over to my other camera here.
Sure thing.
and I'll sort of demo. So here's the base game, if you can see that. Uh-oh, am I holding it right here? There it is. So it's a deck of cards, and it's these tiles. And when you die, you flip over the tile to show your gravestone, as thematic as that is. At the beginning of the game, everyone's going to be either a human or a werewolf. So you're going to start the game either with a gold, indicating that you are a human, or a bite, indicating that you are Wolf 0, the start of the infection. And wolves have the goal of taking over the colony, so basically they want to infect or kill all the humans. And humans just want to survive, or have at least one other human survive to the end of the third night. So there's night cards, as I just mentioned, and there's going to be 3 night cards that are actually shuffled into the deck approximately a third of the way through. And so these do things like Silver Bullet. You get to shoot somebody and find out if they die, they're more likely to be a werewolf. Truth Serum. And then there's Final Nights, which are really crazy. This is where a lot of crazy things happen, and you get to kind of do a lot of old school destructive forces in the final night. So on your turn, whether you're a wolf or a human, you do the same thing. You take the top card of the deck and you give it to the player of your choice. And so if you ever have 3 bites in your hand, you turn into a werewolf. So that's no good. So if you have a charm, it actually negates a bite. If you can see that there, that's the little cancel symbol. So that negates a bite. And then if you have 3 wounds, wounds kill you. But if you have a salve, it actually negates a wound. So it's all about cooperation, trying to get through this deck. You're giving cards from the deck. I give a card to you. He gives a card to me. Oh, it's gold. Okay, that's points at the end of the game. Okay, I'll give it to you as long as you don't stab me in the future, that kind of thing. And then when you get to the night, everyone is going to pass a card left, pass a card right, and then you're going to shuffle the cards you get from your neighbors. And only wolves are allowed to bite. So that's how you know if you got a bite in the night, you know that one of your neighbors is a wolf, but you don't necessarily know which one. So that's how the social deduction works. And then as players die, they flip over their little tile here, and you skip over dead players when you're having the night phase. So the circle closes in and in and in onto itself and gets smaller and smaller and smaller as more and more wolves are spreading the infection, and more humans get killed. And then at the end of the third night, there's a growl phase where the werewolves begin growling and making sort of funny noises. And then that's how we find out who is Wolf 0, how did the infection spread, and ultimately which team wins. All the humans want just one human or more to survive, and wolves want no humans left alive. So that's Growl in a nutshell.
Nice. So it's basically your sort of typical werewolf game, but there is no moderator. There's no one to sit out.
Yeah, that's right. It's a moderator-free. It's one of the reasons I designed it was because I love One Night Werewolf, One Night Ultimate Werewolf, and I have some that actually have some of them behind me, but it wasn't really working for my mainstream friends. And also you kind of have to teach it, and people have to kind of understand what your role is, and there's a chance that something could kind of go wrong in the night, and people have to sort of guess what's happening. And in some cases, depending on the players, they weren't as active. They didn't feel as connected to the plot. Whereas with this, someone doesn't know how to play, you say, don't worry about it. Here's a card. You're either a human or a werewolf. Don't tell me which one you are. You got it? And they're like, I got it. And you're like, okay. So now it's here's the deck. Here's the top card. It's a salve, and it's a face-up deck. Who do you want to give a salve to? Who do you trust? Who do you want to heal? And they're like, I guess I'll heal you. Okay. It's the next one. It's a wound. Well, I'll give it to the person who just got healed because I know that they can handle that. That they can handle a wound. So it's very easy to teach, and I think that's ultimately its strongest quality. You don't need an app or a moderator. If you get eliminated, it's 10-minute, 12, 15-minute games, so it doesn't really matter. And most people don't get eliminated until the end of the game because you're going through the deck, so on average, most of the wounds are going to be spread out, so it's not going to really come to fruition until the very end anyway. So there's a lot of advantages with Growl over traditional social deduction games.
Nice. And so this is not the first expansion that you guys have for this,
No,
right?
I've got a couple other ones I've got here. I'll show them to you. These are little mini expansions. If you want to switch to the little side cam here.
Can do.
We've got the Seven Sins expansion, and this is, oh, that's cool. Yeah, so this is, it adds spells, and spells are cards that have this spell icon here, right here. And that means that you actually put this card face up on the table in front of somebody, gives them a power. And so you reward the players who were virtuous by giving them cards that help them, and you punish people who were sinful. And so it might be something like greed. Players who have more than a certain number of gold, the gold starts to turn into wounds, for example. So that would be like greed. So it's all tied around the Seven Sins theme. And then that one comes with the Undead expansion, which adds a whole nother third faction of zombies and ghosts and things, the Undead. And so it removes player elimination. So if you don't like player elimination, when you die, instead you turn into the Undead. So that's the Undead and Seven Sins. And then we have the Curses, and Curses adds more cards that shuffle into the game, like various extra bad versions of wounds, or there's a cursed idol where it's a bite, but humans are allowed to pass it, for example. And then there's also spells, which comes with more player powers. So those are the 4 existing expansions in the game so far. And so now we're heading off into new territory with 2 new ones.
Nice. And what are those two?
All right. So I don't have the box art here, unfortunately, because I sent all my review copies away. But I'll show you a little bit about it. The first one is called Madness.
Sort of like that.
Oh, that looks great. Perfect. So Madness is very different than other expansions. It adds a social component of, basically, it replaces bites and gold with tainted bites and tainted gold.
You're a little off camera.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
Tainted bites and tainted gold. So now when you get a gold, it doesn't just do its regular function. It has a new thing. When another player laughs, well, that's fine. You have gold. If that's all you have in your hand is some gold and some other things, you don't have to worry about that. But if you get a tainted bite, then they pair together. So when another player laughs, perform a sentence in a made-up sign language. So you start to get triggered by these weird madness things. And it's subtle at first. For example, let me find it. This one says, say your own name in a sentence. Well, that's not hard. So if someone says, okay, who wants this salve? And if somebody's giggling, then it's triggered you. So you might say, okay, Joey wants that salve, because you have to say your own name in a sentence, but you don't want people to really realize that you're going mad. Right. It's subtle at first. People won't notice, but over time, you get more and more of these things. Things will start to get weirder and weirder and crazier. And the wolves will become less mad because they're giving away their bites, but humans still can't pass bites. So wolves get less mad and humans get more mad. So the strange behaviors are actually tied to the social deduction. So it's kind of more sophisticated than that, but that's in a nutshell what the basic gameplay of Madness is. It adds this interesting sort of physical and behavioral component to the game. And there's all kinds of different triggers and different kinds of effects. And all the expansions tie in with the other expansions. So you can actually play with spells and player powers and things like that while playing with all these other expansions. So, and then the other expansion that we're launching is called the Plagues expansion. And in Plagues, you have these little plague tokens, which I don't have to show you, but it's in that picture that you put up. And oh yeah, there they are on the left. So the plagues give heresy to players. So if you don't trust somebody on your turn, in addition to taking your turn, you give the top card just like normal. But there's also a bunch of spells, and the spells relate to heresy. So for example, here's Black Cat. It gives 2 heresy icons plus some gold. Well, gold is good because you can spend gold to trigger other powers. So it's good to have that. For example, this is Bad Deed. Once per turn, you may discard a card with gold icon, choose any face-down heresy token, and flip it. So you can activate heresy tokens, give heresy tokens. Heresy tokens are always bad with a couple exceptions. Some subtract heresy. But the main thing is that you go through the deck giving these these cards and passing out the heresy tokens, and then a plague will happen. So, for example, Plague of Beasts. From now on, heresy tokens, so normally they're cleared away after it's resolved. There's a new win condition. The winners will be the team that has the fewest total number of face-up heresy icons. So plagues hurt players who have heresy tokens, right? So this one kills heretics, but gives them a chance to do something before they die. Plague of Locusts, you lose all of your spell powers. And other ones give various maledictions. This one, Plague of Livestock, it actually creates a new faction called the Herd. So you're no longer a human or a werewolf. Now you've actually become basically the Herd. So that's basically how plagues work. It's giving heresy tokens and getting new powers and trying to avoid getting plagued. And the more heresy you get, the more likely you're going to get plagued. So it changes the dynamic of the game because you start to reveal who. Normally in the game, you kind of secretly know who you trust. You don't really want to reveal information. But with plagues, you kind of have to publicly announce who you trust because you're actually giving these tokens out. Although some of the tokens you give are actually helping them. So you might make it seem like you're hurting a human. Okay, I mean, hurting a wolf. Let's get the guy. He's definitely a wolf. I'm going to hurt him. But you secretly might give him a token that helps him. And then by the time the night or the plague is triggered, everyone will realize that the token you gave actually helped him, and you're probably a wolf as well. So again, it's kind of hard to explain all this stuff, but it's part of the very simple, easy to understand experience of playing the game. You're just giving a card, getting a card, giving a token or getting a token, and then at night something crazy happens, and then at the end of the game you try to see whether the wolves have taken over the colony or not.
Nice. So these are coming up through a regular deck. These aren't coming up through like in the same way the Final Night cards do, where it's coming up through that.
You talking about the cards, the new cards?
Yeah, the plague card.
With plagues, you just shuffle all the new cards into the deck.
Right.
If you want to switch to the other camera. So with plagues, you actually shuffle. You just shuffle the new cards into the deck. With Madness, it's a little different. You don't want people to know. Normally, cards are face up, but because each gold and each bite are actually unique in this version, you keep the gold here on this little gold side, and you keep the tainted bites here on the little bite side. So, there we go. So when it's time to give somebody a bite, you throw the bite in the garbage, the generic bite in the garbage, and then they draw secretly from the tainted bite deck. So only they know that they got this make a humming sound that gets louder each time this is triggered. So nobody notices this at first, but it gets worse and worse as time goes on, and suddenly it becomes pretty obvious that you are mad as a hatter.
I love it. And I love the art. The art in this game is one of my favorite things. I think the first time I saw it, I think it was Gen Con a couple of years ago, and I stopped dead going, yes.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's fun. It's we have the same artist team as before. So let me see if I can focus on that. Here's the classic bite, and let me see what else I have here. We got the wound. It's pretty simple, and then the classic charm. It's got some fairies. Kind of hard to see the fairies, but they're there protecting you. So yeah, and then the salve. It's got the sort of classic color scheme for salves. So yeah, it's thank you. The artist is actually a 19-year-old Ukrainian girl artist. She's a very interesting woman. She actually is a tattoo artist. So her entire body, that every place she can reach, she's tattooed herself.
Nice.
But yeah, you can check out her Instagram. You can track her name down on the Board Game Geek. Her name is Angelina. So yeah, it's been great having the same team of artists. I got to say, the pandemic has definitely slowed the art, their pace. You would think they would pick it up, but I think a lot of things have slowed down over the last few months.
Yeah. I had the same thing. It was like, hey, cool, great. I know that my painter, the paint slinger, can get some more stuff done, and no.
It is what it is. It
Yeah,
is.
it is what it is. We didn't fall behind at least, so
Yeah,
we're up on a lot of places.
Yeah, and the other thing, I don't think I have one here super easy to find, but the other thing about the Howley Growly is it comes with this little fur bag, so you can. The name of the wolf is Growly.
Nice.
Let me see if I can find one. I guess I don't have one. It's just the problem with these bags. You have to, every time a kid comes to visit, or you have a nephew or something in town, he wants to have one.
That is a thing.
But Growl has been great for me. It's funny because it's gotten mostly really good reviews and a couple bad reviews, but ultimately I think it really comes down to, do you want to play a really quick, very light game? It's not too overly strategic, but it's also not like Werewolf where somebody just gets killed and it's not really fair. This game, if you're afraid of dying, then pass away your wounds and you're way less likely to get killed.
Yeah.
If you don't want to, if you're afraid of getting bit, then ask somebody for a charm and that'll negate the bite.
There he is.
Oh, yeah, that is an old picture, but yes, that's sort of that's from 2018. It looks like that was. What's interesting is the color scheme ended up changing from orange and blue, sort of like almost like a Halloween colors, to yellow and blue. And the reason for that is actually unbelievably simple. I could not get googly eyes in orange. So the entire the game actually changed because I had to get yellow googly eyes instead of orange.
It works.
It is what it is.
We do have a copy. This is my copy of the base game that you have generously allowed us to give away.
Yes. Yeah, happy to send off the giveaway. You want to do a giveaway?
I think we do. So I had my little fez here. I have all the people's names in it from all the different social medias. And I did draw a name out just before we went live. And the winner is, drum roll, please. Ding, ding, ding. There we go. Congratulations, Chelsea Odell from Edmonton.
Edmonton, oh boy.
Who was actually in the stream at one point.
What do you know?
She was there. She liked it. So that's convenient.
I like that.
We got another new comment in there. Megan says it's so pretty. So pretty.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Well, congratulations, Chelsea Odell. Thank you.
We'll get her information to you, and we'll get that sent out shortly.
Very good.
So you got the Kickstarter starting tomorrow.
Tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Mountain Time. Yep. And yeah, it's we'll be selling the base games. I've got a Korean copy here.
That's awesome.
So this is the base game. It's about $20 US. What is that in Canadian? $20
US, about 30, give or take. It's anywhere between 25 and 30, depending.
All right, so somewhere in there. And then we've got the sort of deluxe edition. The bigger edition is cool because it comes with a couple of the expansions. It comes with the curses and the spells expansion, and then also it has slots for you to put all the cards in here, yeah. Like this basically, so you can sort of organize all the expansions. But and then we have the new expansions, and we also sell things like sleeves. So we've got card sleeves for this is for the Undead expansion, and the Knights and the Final Knights, and whatever else we have in there. And then the basic sleeves, it has this sort of wooded cursed idol here as the back.
That's adorable. Yeah,
so it's been a fun little time. Like I said, this is not all of my life. It's just part of my life. It's just, small part. This is just a fun little, smaller, less ambitious game. I've been working on some really ambitious things for years, and they just takes a long time to make the ambitious games.
Yeah. But comment there from Megan. She's glad to hear you took the box design into consideration.
Oh, good.
These are important things. We need to see our the boxes. Actually, I love that. I personally do love that. That's something I straight up will bring up. If there's a terrible box design, I will mention it.
Oh yeah, the boxes are magnetic, so they have the clasp. Very good. And the number one question I got on the first Kickstarter for the base game was, will the cards fit in the box sleeved? And I was like, obviously they would fit sleeved. What kind of idiot game publisher wouldn't have space for the sleeve cards. Turns out a lot of them.
Yeah.
So
Unfortunately, it's true.
But it's been a really fun thing. Kickstarter has really changed a lot of people's lives, especially in the indie board game community, because I had this idea when I was a kid for my other game, Chaosmos, and I didn't think really it would ever go anywhere other than just showing it to some friends. And somebody said, "Oh yeah, you should put this on Reddit." So I put it on Reddit. So here, look, I'm making a game, and people said, "Oh, you should put this on Kickstarter." And I was kick what? Like, I didn't even know. I didn't know that there was a way to share, your idea with the world, and you really can do it. And it's been really rewarding for me. And as time goes on, more and more people join Kickstarter, but it's also been a good experience because there's more and more companies that spring up that are, they can help you with Facebook ads, or they can help you fulfill the games, ship the games worldwide. So like I said, it's sort of, I feel like I'm part of this momentum that's happening in the indie board game world, and it's really rewarding for that reason as well.
Nice. So I know you got to go, so we can we'll take a little wrap up here. Where can we find you and your games?
Oh boy. Okay. So my personal website is joeyvigour.com, VIGOUR.com, and the Kickstarter, you can just go to kickstarter.com tomorrow. You might even be able to go there tonight. And sort of there's a page where you can actually join to get notified on launch. If I drop a link into the chat, will people be able to see it?
They should, yes.
Okay. Yeah. So
I'll take a couple seconds for it to show up, but yeah.
I'll put a link into the chat, and you can sign up to get notified on Kickstarter. Did that pop up? Oh, that's private chat. Hold on.
Yeah, you need to do it on the actual thing. I can make that up.
Repost it for me. So that's you can get sign up to get notified. So there's about 600 and something people that have signed up so far for tomorrow's launch. Yeah, and it's like I said, it's not an expensive game. You can actually get a $5 version of the game. It's just a deck of cards basically, and it wouldn't come with tiles and things. But if you're not sure if you want the game, you can back for $5 and stay, follow along on the ride and see if you want to upgrade before the end of the campaign. And it's only a 12-day campaign. It's
exactly
too exhausting to do these 30-day campaigns. So
I can see that. Helps some people, but it can be a pain. Yeah. And I did throw it in the Facebook chat as well, so it'll show up there, but there it is on the screen there. And no, that is amazing. I love it. I can't wait to see more. And sounds like the people who have been watching can't wait to see more too. So that's also great. So I definitely do want to say, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Dave. Thanks for hosting me. It's been pleasant to see you online. I see you every year at, I think, Gen Con. Is that the one I usually see you at?
Gen Con, and we saw each other at Shucks last fall as well.
Shucks, yeah, that was in Vancouver. Yeah,
Vancouver.
That's right. Oh yeah, that's why I was thinking you were in Vancouver, because that's where I saw you there. Yeah. Well, thanks for doing your thing, and I'll have to follow along your progress. Things are changing for you, I'm sure, as time goes on and the pandemic is crushing the world.
But as long as people are willing to mail me games, it works, because I normally drive to Gen Con so that I can bring stuff back.
Oh wow, yeah.
There's a lot of games that are just not feasible to mail.
I usually drive to Gen Con with games in my trunk, but I thought when this game debuted at Gen Con last year, I thought maybe I'd better bring a few extras just to be safe. And I sold an entire pallet. It was awesome. 350 games.
Yeah.
And it was because of that experience that I got distribution offers and stuff. But I don't want to give it away, but I will end up signing with a larger publisher for 2021, because it's really, really not my thing to pitch games and do marketing and do calls with all these distributors and stuff. It's much more fun for me to just be a designer and focus on that. And so I'll probably keep using Kickstarter for my smaller games. I've got a bunch of little smaller games coming, and then I've got a really big game that I don't want to sign with anybody. Even if Asmodee or somebody offered me a contract, I wouldn't sign for this new one, because it's so personal. So
there's the Battle one, right? Is that one?
No, Battle Stations is my friend Jeff's game. I produced it, but I'm not, and I designed some missions for it.
Okay.
But I have a copy of that. No, the one I'm talking about is called Calamity Incorporated, and it is autobiographical, and it's very, very ambitious. It's hard. I don't want to even get into it because
no. Well, that's another day. We'll look at that later.
I was inspired when I saw the Kickstarter for the game Nemesis with, like, you know, you could buy a $200 level where every little thing's a miniature. I was like, all right, now's the time. I can finally make my dream game and not worry that it's too ambitious, because games are ambitious now and people are willing to spend the money if they feel like there's value there. So it's kind of interesting that I'm trying to do like a $200 board game and also a $20 board game, but that's just how it is.
Yeah, exactly. But thank you again for joining us. I also want to say thank you to the Calgary Clown Society, who generously allowed me to pull up this software that we're using to stream today. Thank you, as always, to the 427s for the great music that, in theory, you hear at the beginning and end of this, if the Facebook doesn't just strip it out, because it can do that. As well, thank you, Geekorama.net, for also hosting the stream. And until next time, good gaming and goodbye.
All right. Thanks a lot.